If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard as we're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Big show lined up over the next 3 hours. We'll of course get into the NBA and the NHL playoffs. Major League Baseball games going on as we speak. Great guests on the program, including Jeff Seeley, best bets on the PGA Tour this week, coming up bottom of the hour. Jeff Sherman at the Westgate. They made a major announcement last week regarding contests and what they're going to do for the football season. 2 new contests they're going to debut. And this, I think, is awesome and very exciting news for the audience, Paulie.
Damn right.
It's huge.
Yes. Yeah, it is big news, especially that we're talking about a contest that people have been asking for a while.
Yeah, and that's coming up in about an hour. And also Wednesdays with the Maestro, Mike Palm from right here at Circa, coming up in the second hour of today's program. I am personally trying to recover from an absolute bloodbath yesterday. My apologies. It did not go well. I mean, that's one of the worst days. Those are the type of days that you wish never to have. As the games were unfolding last night, I'm like, I'm going to lose another bet and another one. And this is not going well. And there was no getting around that. I mean, it was vile and nasty. But, you live to bet another day, and that's where we're going to try to, pick up the pieces today and maybe move on and get some best bets at cash and kind of rebound from what took place yesterday. The games that are in action right now, that a baseball team is really, really bad when ESPN is now picking up on it and saying that it's a national story. That's what happened yesterday on Pardon the Interruption with Kornheiser and Wilbon. They actually put the Rockies in their rundown and talked about it, and they're not kidding. And, we've been trying to explain to you as well for a long time just how bad they are. They're in action as we speak. They have 4 wins on the year. That is it. It's May tomorrow. Their run differential is minus 78, and just trying to find ways. I tried yesterday twice. I failed, lost both bets. But right now, Paulie, they lead Chris Sale and the Braves 2-1, and they're in the 4th inning. On the live line, the Braves are minus 115. And on the run line, they're higher than plus 150. I looked, the overnight, I saw minus 160 on the run line. And then this morning, I really couldn't even find one. Other books were just posting either minus 2.5 runs or minus 3.5 runs in this game today for the Braves.
Yep. If they lose, they would join the 88 Orioles. It's the only team to start 4-26. Lost... I hope people can't hear that.
I know.
We go back to the South Point days. Someone pulled an alarm. They've lost 16 of 17, and they're giving up 6 runs per game. And it's bad when you said, the national shows are talking about them. But to be 4-25, and you haven't won back-to-back games, 1-14 on the road, 1-13 at night, 0-9 against lefties, striking out 28% of the time, which of course would be a record. Starters ERA 6.73. They're already 16 games out. As Jeff Passan wrote, they're not bad. They're tragic. And keep in mind the schedule. This is so what the White Sox did. The White Sox were still in a bad division, right? Or a so-so division. You got 46 games left against the Dodgers, Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks.
What do you think their updated win total is going to be next Monday? Remember when we talked about that 2 days ago? It was 48.5.
Yeah.
It might be low 40s. Soon it might touch 30s at some point for the updated win total.
I don't think he should be drug tested. I mean, it's all-time bad what they're doing here.
And by the way, so this kid going today for them, Dollander, his numbers so far, absolutely horrendous. Today against the Braves, he's only allowed 1 run.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, he's kind of making it look easy a little bit, so to speak. Does this continue?
I hope not. I don't think so. The other thing is, if you want to get involved in play, though, you got to be careful with Sale because they're going to the bullpen. He hasn't got an out yet in the season in the 6th inning. So, what's he make me 6 more outs? That's it,
right?
And it's his first appearance in Coors since 2011. How about that?
Oh, geez.
But that's right. So that's what you're up against here as well. But I wanted to, of course, take him before the game. but maybe Colorado hangs around and Atlanta can't muster anything offensively.
Well, here's the deal. Right before the show started, I wish we were on the air to bring this up because they were minus 106 to win the game. Now they're minus 132 as we go to the top of the fifth.
Yep.
Now that's a 26-cent difference in the span of 5 minutes here. 6 minutes. 106 looked kind of attractive to me. Did not get down. They were also higher than plus 160 on the run line. They also, like last night on the overnight, the first number that I saw on the Braves was minus 225. That vanished immediately, Paulie. That got to like 280 before you could blink in this game.
Yeah. And a big move last night as well.
So
of course, it's been free money.
Of course. The other game going on right now, the Dodgers were actually bigger favorites in this game against the Marlins, and so far it's panning out that way. They lead Miami 4-0. This was Gonsolin making his first start for L.A.
in 600 days, so good for him. Muncy goes deep early. You want to get nuts? The Marlins are 20-1 in play. Still only in the fourth inning. Remember the Braves. The Dodgers just blew a 5-run lead against the Marlins, but good to have them back. And they got more good news. They're hearing Ohtani second half of the season, Kershaw mid-May, Glasnow and Snell in May.
Okay.
Targeting their comebacks. But 9.5 the total in play. And we'll see if they can get to Gonsolin, but it's great to have him back. And there's a lot of great stories like that today with Gonsolin coming back and a lot of guys making their debuts and Giolito's finally going for the Red Sox.
That's right. I do have a bet in this game. It's up on the VSiN website. I put it up there. I haven't checked the box score, but it's Freddie Freeman over 1.5 total bases. He has really good career numbers against Cal Quantrill. That was minus 110. 2 games coming up very soon as we have Angels, Mariners. Don't look now.
I played the over.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So I know his numbers are good, but you say the regression's coming with Anderson. 8 runs allowed in 5 starts. He's been solid, and here comes Seattle. So good for them. Total only 8.5. They're on a 14-5 run, and the offense has been dangerous, led by Polanco, who's 10 for his last 20 with 6 bombs.
Yeah, two of them last night. Not in the lineup today.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I was looking for his props. Hancock's $1.40, but I like over 8.5 in this one.
So here's the funny thing that's happening, right? Everybody said this before the season. The offense for the Mariners cannot possibly be as bad as it was last year. And so far, that's panning out. They're coming on. I can detail this a little bit later on because I'm looking at them for maybe the most wins in May. Haven't done it yet, but they have some really good advanced numbers on the offense. The problem is everybody expected the pitching to be the same, and it's not. The pitching has come back to earth. Mm-hmm. And you also can tie in the Logan Gilbert injury.
Yep.
So that's a little dicey, obviously, for the team. And other games starting here momentarily. So you have a bet on the over in that game. Michael King today is going for the Padres against Roop and the Giants here. Both teams obviously very strong starts to the season in April. King's numbers overall against the Giants, they're okay. They're nothing to write home about. But they are minus 130, and I heard the fellas on prop points earlier today making the case for Michael King to go over his K prop, which you could definitely twist my arm on.
All right. Do you want to stump in front of this Mets freight train? It's a cheap price at home against Burns. Palm's been all over Burns. He hasn't pitched well. He's $1.12. The Mets on pace to win 113 games. They would be the 7th team since 1900 to start 14-1 at home. The 2023 Rays did it. I don't remember this. The 02 Twins did it. But number 1 starter ERA in the league. And do you want to get in front of the Mets here and try to go with Arizona? I think that's risky business. But Arizona, $1.12. Yeah, this would be something. What a start and what they're doing. They're also 18-4 at home against Arizona, going back since 2018.
Braves with a runner on first right now, nobody out as they play in the 5th. They're now minus 154 to win the game. And look at that, 2 runs scored by the Marlins now in the 4th. They trail the Dodgers by a score of 4-2. Dodgers now $11 to win the game. Marlins 6-1 in the take back.
The other thing, let's not, they're saying, hey, don't forget about us, is the White Sox. So getting lost in this Colorado mess is Chicago's doing it again. And the Brewers, big move on the Brewers last night, and now they're only $1.60 with Myers against Smith. Milwaukee, 7 in a row, and 11 of 12 against the White Sox. And you get them $1.60 on the road.
Well, there you go. Good stuff. NBA, the Rockets got to as high as 4.5 tonight in this game against the Warriors. I think that was maybe the ceiling because it came back down to 4. You on the Warriors in this game?
I don't want Houston.
And neither do I.
But I put the tinfoil hat on. It's like they're not going to get a game on Friday. Like both of these teams are going to close them out. Hard to envision we don't have an NBA playoff game on Friday. But these series have been short. But where's the offense coming from Houston's standpoint? They need a big game from Green, and they got to stop missing free throws, too. But again, all these numbers are real and spectacular since the Butler trade and what he's meant to him with the number one defense, points off defense, turnovers forced, and what they're doing. I just don't think Houston can score enough to warrant laying this with the spread, even though it's a must-win. Because Curry, they're all saying the right things. Like, don't let him back in the game in the series. Let's wrap it up. Need the rest, all this, right? They're veterans. They know. They're saying all the right things. Unlike the Maple Leafs, who insist they're fine, even though they've lost 2 in a row and the series is now 3-2.
No kidding. So I did a little deeping on this whole Jalen Green situation against the Warriors. The one good game that he had in this series is when he went for 30-plus points. That was game 2 at home. That was, and by the way, the guy who guarded him a lot in that game, or I should say Green went off against, was Quentin Post, the big guy for the Warriors. And the reason why Kerr, I think, had to start him is because of, obviously, the Jimmy Butler injury. But there was also the fact that the Warriors were getting dominated on the glass. So he wanted Post to play a little bit more and get some help out with the rebounding, which he did, like 12 rebounds in one of the games. But Jalen Green did a great job against Post in that game when he was guarding him one-on-one. Post owned it after the game, said that's completely on me. I went back and looked at like every other game this year for Jalen Green, going back in the regular season. It has not been kind to him. The Warriors have dominated this guy.
Yeah.
So his prop now tonight is down to 16.5. Typically, I want to buy low. I just think it might be a terrible matchup for him overall. And I think the game that he went for 38 points when he was on Post quite a bit in that game was maybe the outlier there.
I think you're right. And I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State takes him out again. And you're paying a tax on the Lakers, too.
Yeah, you are.
Up to 6 with the must-win. Looking for a new way to feel the rush this Kentucky Derby? First Bet is your front-row seat to the fastest 2 minutes in sports. Bet on the Derby and hundreds of other races every day. FirstBet.com. New users, promo code VSiN200. Grab a $200 sign-up bonus. Derby starts at First Bet. Get it now. FirstBet.com.
We will expand on the player props to get into tonight on both those NBA games. And we'll discuss updated series prices and look ahead to the next round of the playoffs as well. We were both floored at the opening number. We'll get into it next year and follow the money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Thanks for checking in. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy hour coming up. We'll get into props for tonight's action in 15 minutes. Mike Palm, VP at this great property, coming up in studio at the bottom of the hour. We'll head across town here as Jeff Sherman joins the program now. He is the VP of Risk Management over at the Westgate Superbook, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. Good afternoon, Jeff. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Great. How's it going, guys?
Doing well. You guys have been running the Super Contest now for 20-plus years since you made the move over from the Imperial Palace. You, Jay Kornegay, of course, Ed Salmons. But that contest was already established from Art Manteris, so that's been around for a long time. So you've had that. You've had Super Contest Gold, which is a $5,000 contest, and it's a weekly pick-em contest against the spread for several years. Tell us what's new over at the Westgate and what you guys decided to do with contests for the football season coming up.
Yeah, John Murray, who has taken over for Jay Kornegay, wanted to implement some new ideas into this. So we've got the Super Contest Classic everyone knows about. You pick 5 against the spread. You can have up to 10 entries, but we have upped the entry fee from $1,000 to $1,500 for that. We've got the Super Contest Gold, which is a $5,000 entry fee. You can have up to 3, and it's the same format. Pick 5 games against the spread. Now we have 2 contests that are new to us this year. One's a college contest, which you don't see those too prevalent anymore. Mm-hmm. That's a $500 entry fee, and you do 7 games, pick 7 against the spread there. And it starts at not the week 0, but week 1, the full week 1. You can have up to 10 entries. And then we have the Super Contest Survivor, which is a $5,000 entry fee, and you can have up to 10 entries there. And we all know how Survivor works.
Wow. That is some major news. Let's start with the college contest. Paulie, this is something that you've been begging for now for several years, right?
A lot of people want it. Las Vegas wanted it. We needed to have it in Nevada. I know we had it at William Hill for years, and then the sale with Caesars, and it went away. So this is you're going to get I think a lot of people to sign up for this, Jeff. I love this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, what's the number of entries that you guys had in mind for that specific contest when you put it together?
Well, I mean, he wanted to be flexible, so we did the 10 entries. You can get up to 10 entries. So, we'll see. It's new to us now. And, there's so much competition in the NFL marketplace that, we think this one might be able to do half of what we're doing on the Super Contest. So we're hopeful to see something and actually a lot of growth in it. So, we'll see what the response is the first year. And if we need to tweak anything to it, to go ahead and have it some growth. But it's something we wanted to implement and have some longevity with.
Okay, then let's move into Survivor. $5,000 an entry, and a person can get up to 10. Expectations there. I have a number in my head that I think you might be able to do in year one already. What are you guys thinking?
Well, if it's anything from experience of, we had around 100 entries, just short of that for the Super Contest Gold, where you're picking against the spread. So a lot of people are more inclined for this type of thing, so I could see maybe double that. It's like I said, this is a new one for us, an uncharted territory here. But 5,000 is a hefty asking price, but it's something different. So we'll see what we can come out with this one.
What do you think, Paulie? 200 people? I think yes.
Yeah,
I think you guys can go over that. But I think Survivor is also insanely popular.
This is the marketing department behind you. Are you going to get out there and promote these two? Is that because that factors into this as well?
Yeah. They're going to start. They're getting all their things together for that. So
okay.
You'll see that over the next few months.
So I'm guessing that, did you guys also have like conversations with proxies in town, going back, I don't know, maybe even to like last year or previous years, to maybe get the sense of like, is there an appetite for a Survivor contest that would be $5,000 for an entry?
I'm not sure how John approached it for that and how he came up with that, if he got any input from that perspective. But, just something to try to add to it and what we've done and, kind of break the mold from how we've had so long the Super Contest Classic and then a few years back adding the Gold. And here's a couple new ones that you can see the demand out there. We've seen it in the Survivor. And like Paulie mentioned, the appetite for a college one. So we're trying some new things and we'll see what the response is. And, it's definitely not going to be a one and done. So,
yes.
If we need to do some things, we can tweak it and try to improve it year after year.
Good answer. And you're in it for the long term as well. So don't get discouraged if there are low numbers. You're right. That's a solid answer. Jeff Sherman, our guest, the big news at the Westgate. Survivor 5,000 and 1,500 now with the Super Contest, and the college is 500 to get in. Your thoughts on the NBA playoffs and what we specifically saw last night in particular, where I guess everyone's been wrong. Mitch couldn't find one person last night that liked Denver. Murray was awesome. Denver blows them out. They lead the series 3-2. Yet they're only like $1.80 adjusted series price, and there was a huge move on the Clippers to win the series when it came out. Harden listless again, going through the motions. What do you think now? Even though it's 3-2 Denver, the Clippers are back to a 6-point favorite Friday night.
Yeah, I couldn't have been more dead wrong on this. Before the series, I took the Clippers plus a quarter. I've been on them in their games, and I know they were 3-1 against the spread in the first four. They had the one blowout win, and just power rating wise, I had the Clippers plus one last night, figuring I made it 1.5. And if the Clippers, the game before that, when they came back from 20 down in the fourth, if they had actually won that game and had a lead in the series going to Denver, I would have had the Clippers as a 3-point favorite in that spot, on a closeout spot. So I'm surprised, especially with what happened last night. They weren't even in the game from the get-go.
Yeah.
Came out low energy. And, but now you have even a higher spread for the next game, 6.5 to 7 out there. Obviously the must-win situation, but the power rating, it almost seems like, it keeps increasing, even though Denver is playing better than expectations going into the series. So I don't think the Clippers are out of it yet. I think they can handle business at home. And if it goes to a game 7, I think you're going to see the line price right around pick 'em.
I'll ask both of you guys this. Yeah, okay, wow. So in Game 6, based on playoff history here and what we know about these two players, Jeff, I'll start with you. Which player would you expect to have a bigger game in the next meeting, James Harden or Russell Westbrook?
I'd expect Harden here to come through just because of what he did last game. I mean, I know Westbrook's just playing with house money and out there free, and he doesn't have the expectations. But this is a big spot for Harden and what he's done, forcing his way to the Clippers and being in a spot like this. And after what he did last game, I think he's going to come out more focused. He's going to have more of an impact, in my opinion, on the game.
Paulie, you agree?
No. Can't trust him.
This is unbelievable. It happens every year.
It's every year. He shies away from the ball. He's scared. He doesn't. I can't believe it. But it's the last two games now, and they were right in this thing. So, and there's sevens out there in the market as well. I gave you a homework assignment before I get to that. Why did you open Cleveland $5? What? Take us through this. Why you were the highest out there?
Well, we base it off the game spreads and the money lines in those game spreads. And game one is an 8-point spread, and then you put that in the formula, and that's how it came out to us. And so, Ed and I made the numbers, and we both arrived at $5, and that's what we opened right away. We had that this morning, and we took some respected play minus 500, and so we moved it aggressively enough that we're now minus 600 on it. So,
wow,
it looks like we've yet to write a ticket on Indiana, so the plus 400 sitting out there isn't enough to entice anyone at this point.
Incredible.
Holy smokes.
That is surprising. What would you make Cavs Celtics Eastern Conference Finals?
I would have Boston right around $1.50 to $60, even though Cleveland does have home court in that series. Enough of a power rating there. And then the game spreads. You can look back and see how Golden State at Houston came to fruition, where in the first game, you had Houston as a small favorite in that game. And it's going to be something similar to that, where Cleveland's going to be 1.5, 2-point favorite in the game. And then when you go through the motions of that, I expect Boston to be about $1.50 to $60 favorite.
Celtics Pacers, Celtics home court.
Well, it's going to be higher than what we see similarly with this Cleveland-Indiana one here, because Boston's rated higher than Indiana. Yeah. So we're at $6 on Cleveland. I'd have Boston about $8.
All right, and I'm afraid to ask, Celtics Knicks.
I'm at Boston minus 600 against the Knicks.
You are. I thought based on future numbers that they would not be higher than you had the Cavaliers against the Pacers, but I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, it's going to be somewhat similar of a spread, like 7.5, 8 in those type of games. So, these teams, you got these three teams, throwing Oklahoma City into it that have such a high power rating relative to everybody else. And, one of the things we're talking about is Denver up 3-2 against the Clippers. If Denver gets out of that series and plays Oak City, you're going to see some extremely high game spreads. The Clippers were laying 2 at Denver. Right. Oklahoma City, a lot higher. You're talking about 4.5 there. So that series price, you might see upwards near $8, $9 in that series.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. What do you think about this comment? I believe the Pistons would give the Celtics a better series than the Knicks. Do you concur with that?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, the Knicks, we've seen what they've done in the regular season against Boston, and it hasn't been pretty. And the Pistons, they have a good balance there with the young guys and some veteran guys to guide them. And the way that Dennis Schroeder plays, and I'm not a Tobias Harris guy, but he's helping the younger guys, and they'd be playing with house money. So I think they'd be playing a lot more free than you'd see the Knicks in a series like that.
Yeah, if we have like 30 seconds here, do you think the Warriors or the Timberwolves close out either of their respective series tonight?
I think more of a chance of the Warriors, and obviously you can see in the spreads, but I think the Warriors, I thought going into this series, especially when Golden State took game one, I could have seen this a 4-0 or 4-1 even. It hasn't played out quite like that on the court. Houston's been much more in this series, but Golden State with their veteran leadership, I think can take care of it more so than Minnesota.
Yeah. Great appearance. Yes. Awesome job with the contest. Thank you for coming on today, Jeff. We appreciate that.
No, anytime. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Follow him on X. He's at Golf Odds. $5,000 for a Survivor entry. You in?
That's it. Wow. Imagine someone going to go 10, 50,000.
Somebody probably will.
You're going to go over 200.
I'll go over 200, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Now time Wednesdays with the Maestro. Mike Palm is the VP here of this great property, along with the D and the Golden Gate here in downtown Vegas. Good afternoon, Mike. How are you today?
Hello, Mitch. Hello, Paul. Doing wonderful.
Hey, Mike.
We're wrapping up round ones in the NBA and the NHL. Pretty nice time to be alive.
Touch on that in a second. Did you get involved at all today, like I did with the Braves live when they were down late?
No, I did not.
That's it. Is that
We're sweating. We have a big sweat. We need Colorado, so I didn't want to get involved in the game.
What was that, a 50, 60, 70-cent move?
Yeah, huge.
And so I believe, did you guys actually go to 3.5 runs on the alternate today and not 2.5?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, how many times are you going to get banged up against the wall?
Yeah, right?
We had a parlay yesterday. I don't know if Derek talked about it when he was on, but it was a parlay that would have paid like $800,000, a 5-teamer, right? And of course, it's Braves, Yankees. That was over 5 batters.
Yes,
No
yes.
sweat. Brewers, which I tell you, watching the top of the 6th in that game, I don't know if you followed that game last night. The White Sox led 2-1 going to the 6th. The Brewers had one hit the entire game and not one since the first inning. If you want to know what's wrong with the White Sox, just watch that half inning. Everything that unfolded. Of course, Brewers come back, went 7-2. The only leg of it that was in jeopardy was Hurricanes on the puck line. Wait, we're up 3-0. And now it's 3-3. And I said, here we go. We're going to blow the. This is in the midst of the Brewers coming back. You know the Braves are going to beat the Rockies. But somehow they got it to overtime. Somehow. Despite every call in the world going against New Jersey in that game.
Yeah, how many straight power
Come
plays
on.
did they
You never see 5 straight penalties, 6 straight penalties against one team. Never. Right. There's always a makeup in there somewhere.
Yep. You mentioned last week at Beyond the Booth with Dr. John that these big tickets keep cashing, though. That there's nothing to it, where you're taking all the big favorites in Major League Baseball, and then you're taking the big favorites in the NBA.
I mean, we had one game that Boston lost. That was about it, right? Because you just play Oklahoma City, Boston, and Cleveland in the NBA. That won every time but one, right? Even Oklahoma City's down 29 points that night. We were at with the Beyond. What a great thing with Dr. John too. What a great time that was. You couldn't have found a more perfect person to be your first Beyond the Booth. He texts me every day.
Yeah,
texts me every day now. I get loose plays that way. Anyhow, no matter what happens, it seems like they come back. So I figure we're going to blow the 3-0 lead. Look, I was looking on my apps last night at the end of one when they were up. What do you think that the Devils were up 3-0 at the end of one? What was the money line on
I only
them?
saw plus 240 a take back.
I saw plus 180 minus 240. I said, "Are you kidding me?"
I know it's 3-0.
Like, are you kidding? How can you not lay 240 here?
Yeah,
or
right.
how could you take 180?
Yeah, right.
Bam,
They're
bam,
down
bam.
3.
Good
No
point.
waiting.
Good
I thought
point.
they'd have the lead by the end of the second.
Did you think too much was? There were 6 playoff games going on at the same time last night. Too much.
I don't know what's too much, but I'm going to tell you an angle that I'm starting to think about. These teams that are on home ice or home arena in Game 5 with a 3-1 lead. Like they think it's over, that team that lost one of those 2 games at home in 3 and 4 are going to lay down. And it didn't happen. It didn't. It went like 3-1 last night if you'd have played the team down 1-3. I think that's an interesting psychological angle. You're coming back home thinking it's just going to be over. You're going to clinch. You're up 3-1. You've won a game on their home ice or on their home court.
How about the Toronto angle? They're tight.
I'm going to tell you something.
And it just and everyone.
Can I read you something?
Yeah.
I bet Toronto plus 105. Here's the play for everybody tomorrow. Toronto plus 1. They are going to love to get out of town, guys. This Toronto media on the way to that was a Morgan there when they were down 1-0. Forget about 2-0. What do you think it's going to be like tonight if the Blues score first?
Oh,
and
no.
$5 $1 here. I don't want to get off Toronto. We'll get to Winnipeg next. Can I read you this? This is from the Toronto media. Here's a quote after last night's game. 9 years into a 9-year run of playoff appearances, and with the weight of the city upon them, the Leafs are still trying to prove they're not the team we think they are. Listen, the team that always comes up small when the heat is cranked the highest. The team whose high-end offensive players can't find a way to break through in the manner that their peers seem to do to in every other city in the spring. The team which has a ghastly 1-13 record in potential series-clinching games will almost certainly meet an inglorious and spectacular ending if that mark falls to 1-15 by the end of the weekend. They've got to be loving getting out of town. Remember Vancouver, how good they were on the road? Because they had all those problems in the locker room. The Vancouver media was crucifying them earlier in the year. They were a tremendous road team the first 3 months. I think Toronto's going to – I think they must win in Ottawa to win the series.
Would agree with that.
How about Hellebuck? Five-a-buck, as
Hold
they
on.
call him in Denver.
Would you go Leafs out puck line? Or reverse puck line?
No, I just want them to win. They may go to overtime. Who knows?
3 straight overtime.
Yeah, 3 straight
games.
overtime. I have to. Yeah, I have to just play them. They're plus 105.
No, yeah.
Okay, now how about this Hellebuck in it was very interesting because who was it? Kenny Albert's been with Pang. Is that who it's been? Yep. Sunday, when he gets pulled on the 5th goal, right? He goes to the locker room, right? In St. Louis. Doesn't even sit with the team. And they're chanting in St. Louis, "We want Connor. We want Connor." And Kenny Albert asked Darren Pang, what could have been the motivations for Hellebuck not to stay with his team on the bench for the rest of the game outside of injury? Darren Pang, great quote. "You're asking the wrong guy because I never, ever, ever didn't sit with my team when I got pulled in my entire career." So, it's amazing. What is that place going to be like? Another city of the prophecy of losing if the Blues get the lead tonight early. It'll be just like the morgue it was in Toronto last night.
Yep. 10 of the last 14 playoff games, he's allowed at least 4.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
the first goal is huge. It's not your role. And how can you not put Game 6 in your back pocket? St. Louis has won 14 in a row at home. That's the other thing.
Bennington. Bennington hasn't lost in 2 months at home.
So what's the best approach then to the series then? Is it to bet the Blues in every game moving forward? Is it to bet them on the series price? Is it to wait till Game 6 because you're going to like them so much at home?
No, I will bet them if they get the lead and lay a small price. They're only going to be a small.
That's good.
Winnipeg's $1.75. If the Blues score early in the first period, they're only going to be small favorites. If a pick, then I will bet them. Oh, so you're going to
wait?
lose?
Okay, gotcha.
Whatever. I'll bet them in game 6. But the pressure tonight on Hellebuck is insurmountable. I want to talk about another series if I can. Remember we talk about the tall grass at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, or you talk about the years where it was Bush and Leinart, how Notre Dame would let that grass grow and water it down before the games. There's something in this ice in Dallas.
Chad Andrus said that.
Are you watching the ice in Dallas?
Yeah, he said it's deliberate.
It's the worst ice in hockey, and that's what they're doing to slow down Colorado.
Yep.
Can you look at the speed of those games? Just take a look at a tape with 2 TVs of the games in Colorado versus that ice is deathly slow. It's like a recreational ice center. And this is at the start of periods, too. And what 2 fluky goals there. But suddenly Dallas is in a position to win this thing. Unthinkable.
Yep.
Do they?
I still say no.
Really?
I still say fake ace. Although the board gets to the Western Conference Finals every year, I still think fake ace will rear his ugly head.
Okay, so we all agree
it's nice
here.
to play with the lead 6 seconds into a game.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't hurt.
Mentally, it's a big difference.
Put that up.
We've all thought that the prices in these individual games for the Golden Knights and the Wild have been absolutely ridiculous. Now, they got the job done last night, the Golden Knights did, but my God, I mean, the torture, the fan base in Minnesota, what they've just been through again. That game-winning goal, what would have been probably the game-winning goal, wiped off the board. And so that came, because we knew that we're going to get a lot of money here in town on the Golden Knights. Before they dropped the puck last night, plus 1.5 goals in the Wild was minus 125.
And a game you would think that overtime was very likely, right? You texted me early in the day yesterday, any approach to the game. I said, puck line. You have to play the puck line with the Wild. But shocking, too, on Saturday, they haven't lost a game with the lead in the second period.
I know.
What's that kid doing in there that took the double minor? These teams want to bring up these kids that have never played in any kind of a professional and put them into the middle of the Stanley Cup playoffs? Are you kidding me? After that, he only saw, 40 seconds more ice time.
That was it. They said no more.
I want to go back to last night, and I don't think people are talking about this enough. And everybody said you criticized me, and I won't say a word about the Twins this week, but they're on a roll now. Baldelli might be manager of the year. Why did Hines have 5 forwards, no defensemen on that early power play? You don't do that in the first period of it. Maybe if you're down in the third period, and then, of course, they give up the shorthander. I think that was the biggest factor in the whole game last night.
Probably.
Was giving up that shorthanded goal. Mm-hmm. They play very even with the Knights, I'm telling you. Now we'll see. I mean, is Gustafsson going to be back?
How does that happen? He got sick during the game, they said.
Thank God Fleury. Remember Fleury's last few performances when he had 2 weeks off? He was getting up 7-8 goals a game, right? I mean, it was off. And then he held out, but I'd like to see a game set. We're hosting the watch party, by the way, here
tomorrow.
Stadium Swim tomorrow night. Puck drops at 4:30, so get here early.
Oh, it's going to be a madhouse.
I think they have over 200 Knights employees and the drum line and all the, all that stuff, and Chance the Raptor and all that.
All right. Good plug. And you have the all-in package as well. The ultimate Vegas getaway, $400 here at Circa. 2-night stay, $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit, and your own day bed at Stadium Swim where the party never stops. All for just $400. Resort fees and taxes included. It's through May 26th through September 4th. Don't miss out. Lock it in now. The all-in summer package. CircaLasVegas.com. CircaLasVegas.com. What a deal.
It's incredible. I mean, you're not going to find a better deal than that in Las Vegas. I ran that by Lorraine. She goes, what's the catch?
What's the catch?
I'm like, there is no catch. She goes, that of course we have to do
Where's
that.
The gaff?
Yeah. Up next, more with the Maestro, including You Cannot Be Serious. He is calling this the worst, and he misses nothing, the worst challenge he's ever seen.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. We are live here in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Wednesdays with the Maestro, Mike Palm. Time now for You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
All right, let's start out with this big series in the West that we see now 4 straight years. Kings against the Oilers. And I want to go to Edmonton on Friday night. But let's set the stage for this. Game 1, the Kings blow a 4-goal lead in the third period, only to score in the final minute with 42 seconds left to win 6-5. Game 2, utter domination, as we would suspect, as the Kings have been the best home team in hockey all year long. Now let's go to Game 3 in Edmonton Friday night, a back-and-forth affair that sees the Kings up 4-3 with under 7 minutes to go. Evander Kane, standing in front of the goal, takes a pass from McDavid behind the goal. His first touch, as they would say in soccer, is with his foot moving forward into Darcy Kuemper. Then he whacks at it twice and propels the puck across the line to tie the game. Remember, initially not called a goal on the ice. They weren't sure what happened with the kicking motion.
Yeah.
So the referees initiate a league-wide review to look at this situation. What are they looking at? Did the puck go in because of his foot or his stick? What was the last touch before it crossed the line? This was a long, long review. This might have taken 4.5, 5 minutes, this review.
Yes.
They're focused on the goal mouth. That's what they're focused on. Toronto and the referees are looking over and over at the whole play from the goal mouth. He touches it with his foot. He whacks twice with his left hand. He hits it the second time, and it goes in. Kuemper, mind you, is sprawled out. He had sprawled out to cover the other side of the net, so he's laying on his side. Okay? They come back and they say, although he did hit it with his foot, it was his stick that knocked it in. It's a good goal. Now they're getting ready to go back. It's tied 4-4, 6:48 to go. And what are they doing? They're going over to Jim Hiller, and Jim Hiller calls a timeout. I was here in the book. I stood up as somebody that has the Kings in the series and the Kings to win the Cup and screamed, oh, hell no. He's going to challenge us. He needs another minute to look at this. They just looked at the same angle they're going to look at for goaltender interference in Toronto for 5 minutes and said it's a good goal. LA Kings are challenging for goaltender interference. This review was much quicker. Of course not.
Yes.
And you put the most deadly power play in the world out there with that top line. What do you think it took them? First minute? 9 seconds. They score 5-4, empty net 6-4, empty net 7-4. And this just propels this stone rolling downhill. They blow a 3-1 lead as they go into a shell in Game 4 and then get outplayed worse than they've been outplayed in any game at home all year last night. Totally dominated 3-1. The score really didn't indicate the level of domination. It is the worst challenge that I have ever seen in any sport. One, because of the likelihood of it being good, and 2, because of what you were setting up the consequence if you were wrong. There's no worse place than you could be in the last 7 minutes of a game than have to face that Oilers power play. Jim Hiller!
You cannot be serious!
All right. Now, I want to talk about this rivalry that nobody wants to cover between John Cooper and Paul Maurice. I find this, I said this at the time of the Four Nations. Nobody was reporting this story. I asked Nick Alberga, who comes on the Golden Muzzy, what's going on here? Under no circumstance could John Cooper not ask Paul Maurice to be his assistant coach on Team Canada in the Four Nations. In fact, the debate is, who are you going to choose, Cooper or Maurice, right? How does he come up with Pete DeBoer, who's coached 16 seasons with no cups, and come up with Cassidy with 11 seasons in the NHL with 1 cup, when you've got a guy with 29 years in Maurice who's gone to the finals the last 2 years and won the cup? I know they're competitors. They're in the same division. They play in the playoffs a lot. One of them represents. How could he not? I kept asking this question. Nobody wants to cover this story. Do you think there maybe was a story there? They're mocking each other in every press conference about the late hits, right? After game 2, of course, Maurice says, we only hit the people that have the pucks. And then Cooper comes back and says, we only hit the people. It's going back and forth. The wife's getting involved. Why does nobody in the hockey media, and I wouldn't say Canada because they're 2 American teams in South Florida, but why won't anybody find out what is going on here? You know what they're going to say? Well, the family commitments, Paul Maurice had already made. That's ridiculous. I mean, Paul Maurice would love to be the coach of Team Canada in the next Olympics, right? This is a bitter rivalry. These 2 guys hate each other, and nobody will talk about it. So what I say is, Canadian hockey press,
you cannot be serious!
All right, and finally, let's go to the NFL. Now, this is one of the dumbest quotes I've heard in a long time. The Ravens drafted a kicker, Tyler Loop from the University of Arizona, place kicker in the 6th round this year. As more and more massage therapists come forward to talk about Justin Tucker, who, by the way, has had the greatest decline of any top kicker in the game in history, as far as I'm concerned. And I talked about it for 2 years now. Tucker is falling off a cliff, and nobody wants to talk about it. He missed 12 kicks last year. As more and more massage therapists come forward to tell their stories of inappropriate conduct, well, they draft a kicker in the 6th round. They asked Eric DeCosta, the general manager of the Ravens, what does this say about the future of Tucker with your organization that you drafted Tyler Loop? Here's his quote. I hadn't considered how it would affect Justin's future. But he follows up with this 2 sentences. I just thought Loop was a really talented player, and it made sense for us to draft him for a lot of reasons. I mean, come on. Eric DeCosta!
You cannot be serious!
Because teams draft kickers every single year, and they can't wait to say how good they're
especially when you
gonna
have
be.
no need.
Yeah, right, yeah.
If you have no need for a kicker,
Sure.
you could never have too many place kickers on your roster.
I got a massage last week. I go to my regular girl, and I asked her, is this a problem? How big is this of an issue? She says it happens all the time. All the time. And it's all guys. And this is where
they're asking for extra.
Or just vulgar, coming in, taking all their clothes off. And this is, you're going to a business. This is not like a house call. You're going to a business where all she has to do is go, time out. And you go to the front desk and you got 3 or 4 girls working there and they can come in. It's just like no shame. And it's incredible.
Does she call you Deshaun?
I can't believe it.
I
go, you're kidding me. She goes, it happens all the time.
Well, what's with all the people and powerful people that this has come to light about, including a casino mogul in town. Remember that was part of the downfall, and obviously Watson and now Tucker. And I mean, it's a really ripe situation. You almost need a consent form when you go on a date, a first date of what
you would think in the same league.
Oh, I know.
Where the guy was almost blackballed, you were like, maybe I'll take it easy here getting the massage.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right? Okay. What's your best bet for tonight then? Baseball or NHL? Or did you get some intel on an NBA game?
I didn't get any. I've gotten no intel this whole series on the Clippers. So that's been a tough thing. And I thought they still were live. I mean, I could have got off this many times at a big plus price on Denver. I got plus 125 and I didn't. And, here's Harden. Harden, the version of game 5, 6, 7.
Here it is.
What was he doing? Playing into every double team possible last night? I do have to tell you something that it's not from a betting perspective, but I did text a friend with the Bucks up 7 with 40 seconds to go, watch Doc. I
Is
did.
that right?
You
did.
can go in real time and watch Doc. Watch Doc. 7 shooting a free throw with 40 seconds to go. It's never over with him.
Oh,
He complains about being criticized for blowing 3-1 series leads and say, I don't get enough credit for getting up 3-1. I saw the cute tweet. He wants to get enough credit for being up 7 with 40 seconds. It's never happened in the history of the NBA playoffs.
I can't
that
believe
a team
it.
up 7 with 40 seconds left lost a game. Never happened in the history of the NBA.
Did you guys have an in-play number late in that game in overtime?
No.
When it goes to overtime, you
just
guys take it off the
overtime,
board?
and then that's it. Not
That's
in
it?
overtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only on that break. So amazing.
2 teams in the last 20 years have lost a playoff game up 7 with less than a minute, both coached by Doc. And you said 1,609 and 0.
The 40
going
second
back
mark.
since 97 in the play-by-play area. Just stand there. They're going to follow you. They have to follow you. Just stand there.
Yep.
The jump passing it. Oh, boy.
What are your thoughts on Lakers T-Wolves?
It's a big number.
Yep. Good in-play opportunity. We'll see how hungry the Wolves are, too. But it's also the Lakers are up against it in terms of coming. They'll probably win tonight.
Finch, who gives the best radio show. I tell you, Finch is the best listen on his radio shows, said that we will be challenged to play against their 10 and the officials in the first quarter tonight.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
They'll get a lot of help early tonight.
Well, he better hope that...
He's been right all along about everything.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
sure
they got a lot of help in the last game, though.
the officials probably heard about that, and you're like, okay, you're going to talk like that? Here you go. Here's 6 quick fouls on your team. You want Anthony Edwards with 2 in the first 4 minutes? Go to the bench? Okay.
That's what happened in game 2.
Yeah.
But then you win this, you got to come back Friday night. You win that, you got to come back Sunday.
Well, I mean, both games in Minnesota were terrific basketball. Some of the best basketball I've seen all year.
Yeah.
Yep. Whether you're placing your first bet or playing the ponies for years, Kentucky Derby Betting Guide is everything you need to get ahead on Derby Day. It's awesome. Read it today. And it's phenomenal on the clear breakdown if you're a beginner on how to bet on horse racing, detailed previews of both the Derby and Kentucky Oaks, best bets from the top racing experts to help serious bettors cash. It's out now. Get yours with the VSiN Pro subscription. Start today, just $9.99. Get your first 30 days VSiN Pro with the Derby Guide, all the best bets in the betting splits. Massaro tomorrow, Eddie Olczyk Friday on the Derby. VSiN.com/subscribe.
So you're going to wait Blues Jets. If Blues get one early,
boom,
you're pouncing immediately.
I'll lay up to 130.
You will?
I don't think it'll be near close to that.
All right, great job, Mike. Good to see you again.
Thank you, guys.
Up next, Major League Baseball game starting in about 15 minutes. We'll go over some of those and update the live numbers next here on VSiN.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.